I mean,
You're good. Rick's kind of grouchy.
TVOSJ, the voice of San Joaquin Community Radio, 89.5 FM, KBCC Tracy. We are a local nonprofit multimedia community broadcasting network. And now the Chase Car Guys.
Hey, welcome everybody, and welcome again to the Chase Car Guys. We have a great show. We got Mr. Goofball, Mr. Morales over there pointing at his hat. We have very special guests tonight. We're happy to have them here. It's going to be a good show. Again, we do a lot of community stuff, and so do these nice folks, the lovely family, the Shankel family. And I'm going to turn it over now to my co-host and dear friend and pain in the neck, Mr. Roy Morales.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction. Great. It's great to have some speed happening here today. I mean, we got it rolling because this is going to be all about racing, and we have a family, you know, that is committed to the race, to our racing community, and it's just great to have you here today. Our topic is partners in community. Our today's show, and we have been, Chase Chevrolet has been a partner at 99 Speedway, and they have been a partner with Arron Shankel. Arron, thank you for being here today. Arron Shankel is actually the driver of the number 47 car. You haven't changed a number on that car, right?
Still 47.
That's why you have 47 on that. You pick up stuff.
That's why we got the 47 on the hat, okay? And we're privileged to have his family with him today, and we have Stacy here, his wife Stacy, who
And manager. And bookkeeper. Right here, Stacy Shankel.
Definitely not the bookkeeper.
You spend it though. No. We'll talk about that later. Go ahead, Roy.
And then we also have, thank you for being here, Stacy. And then we also have Arron Jr. Arron Jr. here, wearing his favorite hat. You know, he's got a favorite race car driver in the family.
Yep.
Huh? Yeah. Good to have you here today.
Thank you.
Do you know your favorite guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
You better
Is he
know.
close to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, today it's all going to be about racing. It's going to be about the 99 Speedway, and it's going to be about family. You know, because I know that when you're involved with any kind of sport, you know, the whole family has to be involved to, you know, for it to really work for the entire family. And so we're gonna be able to get some insights from your son and your wife, you know, on that as well. But I think the first thing that I will do is I'm going to start off this way, because a lot of times people, you know, we're talking to a lot of people that maybe have never even been to a race before, you know, at the 99 Speedway. We're going to, and a lot of times they like to know a little bit more, you know, the personal thing, you know, how you got there, and, you know, what was your interest and all that thing. So let's just start off with you, Arron. And tell us about yourself a little bit, you know, about growing up, you kind of where you grew up from, and you know, and how you got interested in car racing.
All right. Well, first off, thank you very much for having me here.
Yes.
It's pretty awesome, kind of cool.
Yeah.
I grew up here in Stockton, and my best friend Barry Frayne had an uncle that raced out there, so we went out to 99 Speedway in the late 70s, early 80s, and his uncle was Tim Gillette, so we'd always go out there, sit in the stands, run around, and always had someone to cheer for. And so with that, after the races, we'd always get to go down in the pits and jump in the race car and think we were, you know, the future of racing. Well, that kind of just grew and grew and grew until back then you had to be 16 years old and have a driver's license to get in the pits. And so once I turned 16 and was able to get in the pits, I went and started crewing for a good friend, Wayne Pierce. And Wayne Pierce brought me up through the ropes, helping me out, showing me the ins and outs of it. And I crewed for him for about 3 or 4 years, I believe. And to this day, we're still great friends with Wayne. In fact, he's our announcer out there at the Speedway.
Oh, is that
so
right?
he kind of hung up the steering wheel and grabbed the mic and doing the announcing out there. And so with that, I was turning 18, playing a little football at Lincoln High. I was going to go on play at Delta, and that didn't work out. So I turned my football helmet in for a race car helmet.
Right on.
And I bought my first car, which was a Ford Pinto,
Yeah,
when I was
Ford
like
Pinto.
19 years
You
old.
didn't race in a Ford.
Yes.
And with a normal engine in it?
Well, it wasn't really a normal
Modified
Ford.
a bit.
It was modified. It was,
There you
yeah, I had some modifications. We definitely took the fuel tank out of it and put a fuel cell in, because that's what they're kind of notorious for, is getting hit and blown up.
Right.
But I started racing out at the fairgrounds, Delta Speedway, and we would have 20 Pintos and Volkswagen Bugs out there racing on dirt, and that's kind of where I got started in the early 90s.
Yeah.
And
So you started racing actually in the car at about what age?
about 19.
About 19.
Yeah,
Huh? Okay.
yeah. So
Now you said that it was Delta Speedway.
Yes.
Delta Speedway was at the fairgrounds.
it's still there, still
Oh,
there.
I see what
Yeah,
you're saying.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. It's still there and it's used for.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
This is the stuff I
No, that's okay because there's a lot of people
Born
out
and
there
raised- born
that
and
there's a
raised in
lot of
Stockton.
people out there that
And you're one of
don't know. Like me. Okay.
And that was on dirt. So I raced that a few years, and sold my Pinto and bought a asphalt car, and switched over to 99 Speedway probably 96, 97, and
Oh yeah.
been there ever since.
I don't know what.
That's
there's
a
always
$10
something.
fine for having a
That
phone
is a
on
big
Morales.
fine.
Continue. I'm sorry for the rude interruption.
And so I bought at that time it's called a pure stock. It's kind of our bomber class that we have out there now. It's your low budget, kind of knock all the glass out and throw a roll cage in and start racing. So I ran that for a lot of years. Met a bunch of great people, and a lot of those people I've still remained friends with, and just kind of stayed there because there's different ranks of going up, and as you move up the ranks, the price of racing goes up, and I just kind of stayed there and had a good time. And then around 2004, I jumped in and bought a late model,
Right.
and kind of jumped in maybe a little bit over my head, but I wanted to try it.
Yeah.
Always dreamed of racing one.
Right.
And reran that for a couple years, and sold that, and because I sold everything because I was going to get married and have a child.
Oh, okay. There you
And
go.
then after
Things
What do you mean
changed, huh?
Was?
I was done. I was okay.
Was the
He was
was
going to hang up his helmet.
Yep.
Wazoo.
Yeah. So
Hey,
with
I'm telling you, you are married. Just
I
so
am,
you know,
yeah.
You were married. You are married.
still.
Good.
So with that, we had our son, and he was about 2, and Stacy was like, "Hey, you want to go racing again?" And I got the green light, and started building a car, and we started racing pure stocks again. And then about 4 years ago, I bought a late model and started running that, and been having fun.
Well, good. That's
Yeah.
good stuff. Now I'm going to give you how little bit of knowledge I have. I did know about the 99
Okay.
Speedway, though, you dummy.
I hadn't been
Anyhow,
there.
I found out something yesterday, and I'm 65 years old, so I'm not a youngster. We're over at the ice rink, and the boys are outside. And I look at a guy's car that works there at the rink, Dave Blessing, but I'm not going to mention your name. And he has a Dodge Charger, and he thinks he's a race car driver, okay? No pun intended, Dave. But anyhow, I'm looking at it, nice car, white, black rims, and these green valve stems on it. And I said, I'm telling the coach, Eisler, I said, what do you think those green things mean? Is that like I'm thinking it's a cartoon thing, or I have no clue. So he happened to come out to the hall. I said, we're discussing. It's not funny. Turn it down, Roy. Anyhow, so I asked him, I said, Dave, what's that symbolic of? Don't you know anything? That's nitrogen in the tires. What? He said, yeah, nitrogen. It runs a lot evener, and you don't have the up and down and the pressure and everything. I said, wow. See, I learned something. You probably know all about that.
Yeah, with air in the tires, they will expand, especially over a course of a race.
Sure.
And with the expansion of the tires and air, you can gain, 5 to 10 pounds in one tire, which will
Throw it all
upset
off,
the
yeah.
car. So what some racers do is run nitrogen to keep the tires from changing.
Yeah, and so I didn't say nothing to him, but I'm thinking, you're driving on surface streets. Is that necessary? And I didn't ask him that because, what do I know? And so I said, well, where do you go get them filled? Because B, I just go to any gas station, I can fill my tire up there, right? He goes, Costco does it for nothing. They buy the tires there and they fill it up. But there's got to be an additional cost, and it probably not a lot. But so let me ask you this: you get a flat tire, not you, because you got a pit crew there, but
Right.
old Dave out there, he breaks down on Charter Way. Does he fill the tire with air, or does he have to find some place with nitrogen because the other ones are in nitrogen?
With that, if he's got a flat tire, he can fill it up with air, get him home,
Yeah.
and then once he's in a safe spot or wherever off the road, he can go back to Costco and get nitrogen or wherever
So
he
what do
fills
they
it up.
drain the tire all the way out of air and then they put it in?
Well,
If you
yeah,
get
yeah.
Costco.
If you're filling your tires full of nitrogen, yeah, you take all the air out.
See, well, you learned
Do
something
you
too.
use nitrogen in yours?
We have been experimenting with that.
Really? So it's legal to do.
Oh
to
yeah,
compete
yeah.
with, you know.
It's definitely legal. It's not in the
Yeah.
nothing says you can't.
Right.
Especially during the summertime when it's hot out and then you're
Sure.
running a 100 lapper. I mean, our
Wow.
tires will grow 10, 12 pounds with air. And that
so
really,
the more air in your tire, or does it slow the vehicle down or speed it up?
so what it will do is, especially the right sides, because we're always turning left.
Right,
So the right sides will,
right. You're always there.
yeah.
Only left at the 99 Speedway.
That's
I
it.
know that part.
Wait a minute, they can run the
No,
other
they
way.
can only go left.
Why? Well, in a real
They've
race,
done that
right?
for 70-something
I
years.
believe since 1947.
And no cars ever
1947.
went the other way. I mean,
They have had races.
Wait a
special.
minute. I
Thank
didn't
you.
read that in the
Thank
history
you.
books.
Thank you. Well, you don't know where. I'll take you out to 99.
Yeah,
Delta
you'd like for
99.
me to go the opposite way, and the other guy's coming at me. That's where.
Anyhow, we don't mean to retract there. But go
So
ahead.
with say the right side tires in the heat, with the tires expanding, it can throw the car off in your setup. So the less expansion of the tires, the better.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can feel that when you're driving.
Oh yeah. And once you get heat in the tires, it can get slick out there. So
Now, a little bit of racing I do know in the stock car racing.
Mhm.
I guess it is the Edwards and help me out with some names. The guys that run
the Cup Series,
the Cup
or
Series, yeah.
oh well, you got the Earnhardts and
Right, all those guys. Now they come off for a pit. Do you guys do that at 99?
We only come into pit if, say, flat tire. We don't run, 500-mile races where the big cup guys
And
do.
fuel, you're fine.
Fuel, we're good. We run, I think our biggest race is a 125 lap 4th of July race, and we're good on fuel.
Wow.
And we're good on tires unless you cut a tire down
Right.
or something like that. Then you can come in.
How
and-
much fuel do you have in the?
we have a 16-gallon fuel cell.
Oh, okay.
So, we'll top that off, and it's not your grocery getter. You don't get very good gas mileage.
Yeah.
So, and what size is the track?
It's a quarter mile.
Quarter mile.
Quarter mile
How
high
many
bank.
quarter-mile tracks are there? Are there quite a few of those?
I'm not sure, but the 99 Speedway, their claim to fame is they're the fastest quarter mile on this side of the Mississippi.
Right,
so,
right. I've
I mean,
always
we're
heard
going
that.
pretty good.
What
High
is-
banked.
What is it? What is the miles per hour that you gain?
I don't have a.
Approximately. And we're not going to hold you to it.
Yeah,
Look this up.
there.
Whatever he says, look it up.
People say close to 90 miles an hour.
Oh, okay. And that's a small track.
It's a
quarter
very.
mile. And you have how many vehicles out there?
We can have up to 20 to 24 cars.
Wow.
And we're running 14 and a half second laps.
Wow.
You know.
How many? That's a small track, and you're trying to pass somebody. There can't be a whole lot of room there.
Well, you got to be good. Or you make
That's
some
where the
enemies.
skill comes
yeah,
in, huh?
yeah. You start running into people, and other drivers
they
don't
don't
care
like
for
that.
that. Right.
There's a name that I remember. I came here in this town in 1976. That was before you were born. Anyway, we're gonna go with
Okay.
Wyatt.
You're right.
Don't out him.
You got to go with the story.
But I remember guys named Phil Pott and those kind of guys. He laughed, but nobody liked him. But was he a dirty driver? I don't know how else
Well,
that's the question.
It's kind of funny you say the name Phil Pott, because the third generation Phil Pott is the track champion last year.
Really?
Justin. So Justin took first, we took second. Third generation of racers out there. They know their stuff, and I have a good rapport with them. I respect them a lot.
You're
and,
the kind of guy I think everybody's got to report. I've met you numerous times at the dealership, and you've always been pleasant. You're not like me. People like you. That's a good thing.
Well, I
for you.
appreciate
That's
that.
a
I
good
appreciate
thing
that.
for you. But yeah, so it's just got to be fun. It's in your blood. It's kind of like this kid behind me is hockey, and that's his passion. But you've been pretty much born and raised in it.
Born and raised at the track, so to speak. I mean, every Saturday night when I could get out there, I'm always watching the racing, and always dreamed one day to drive a late model. I didn't think I was actually going to own one, and let alone win 3 races in one season and a championship. So that was a dream come true.
I'm sorry to.
No,
these
you're
things
good.
are
You're
coming-
good. You're
I know
doing
you
fine.
wrote
I
47
prepared
and
you well.
47 and a half questions.
No, we're all good. You always got to come prepared.
Anyhow, money-wise, now I know you put a lot of money out for the car. You just did round numbers. What does that car? First of all, what did it cost you, and then to maintain it? What kind of money you're talking about there?
Probably where I should leave.
Come closer. We'll hold you through this.
No,
She's not the bookkeeper. Remember that.
the numbers can go up and down. It depends on how the night went. If we had a good, clean night of racing and the car's not banged up, every race or every other race, we're going to have to put tires and oil on it, and that type of stuff, and maintenance. So if we keep our nose clean, type, the cost can be down. But anytime you're racing, it's an expensive sport. It's a hobby. It's an expensive hobby, but it's man, there is nothing like being in the car and
feel the power.
Feeling the power, the smell of the the tire and the exhaust. It's just it's a fun experience. And in fact, my son now, he's in his second year of racing quarter midgets. So here's the next.
Midgets.
Yeah. So
Where do they race those at?
he's racing up in Sacramento at Prairie City.
Okay, so they
at American quarter midget.
Nice.
And you're the head pit boss and trick
Up
crew?
there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Kind of.
Well, we're both
I don't
learning.
keep those books either.
You probably would spend more on the little guy.
His little car is expensive too, but we have fun.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
You're having fun. When it becomes not fun, then you probably
And
move on
there's
to
been
something
a
else.
couple years where I've stepped down. I mean, whether we weren't having fun or the expenses or something like that. Sometimes you just have to take a step back and regroup, and then go full throttle again.
And so that brings me to the next question.
Full throttle.
We keep rolling.
Full throttle.
Where do you get the? You get paid something if you win, I'm sure. Probably not enough to put in a thimble in retrospect to everything else that you do. But where does some of the money come from? Let the people out there know how you raise money or what.
Well, you go out, knock on doors. We have a racing portfolio that I go around and pass out. And, I mean, you hear 100 no's, but that's okay because you keep knocking on the doors. And I've been blessed with having Chase Chevrolet being one of our great sponsors for at least 10 years now.
Wow.
I've had Napa Auto Parts on the car for almost 25 years. Since I started, they helped me out. We also have CNR Fence, which is local. Conjay Frankie Electric, which is another.
That's how Pardini fits into.
Yeah. In fact, Barry Frayne, part of the Conjay Frankie, he's the one that.
I knew that name, and now you just put it.
Yeah.
together.
So,
Thank
like
you.
I said, his uncle Tim Gillette was the one that we'd go out and support and root on. And with that, we also picked up a great sponsor about a month ago, Wilson Family Winery.
good.
They're out there in the
You don't
Lodi.
use their product while you're driving.
Never.
Stacy
Stacy might.
handles
Stacy
that.
might.
Yeah, you can get it at the snack bar.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a PR
Yeah,
person.
yeah.
You finally gave it up. You finally told us what you do for the team.
And another great sponsor we have is McSparran Auto Glass. Kendall McSparran.
yeah.
Great
Yeah.
man.
Kendall,
Great guy.
he's been around racing a long time. He's got 3 stores here in the Central Valley, and he's just a great guy. And with all my sponsors that I have, they're family oriented. I mean,
Right.
so it's a good family. So I can take my family racing and have their family be a part of my family. So it's kind of cool.
Kendall was very close to that racetrack at one time. I know where Shop was. That's how long I've known him. And now he's down a little further away.
A little
from me,
further.
but just on the Wilson Way there.
In fact, Kendall used to, I believe, run out there at Delta with me.
I'll be good.
Yeah.
See, I learned something about you, Kendall. If you're listening, I
Yeah.
heard something. That's more dirt on you, buddy. After the show, I'm going to get some more. But anyhow, that's another.
So with that, getting back to the question, it's just, knocking on doors and trying to promote their business. And
Right.
every time I have their name on my car, I always look at it and go, I want something nice because I want something for them to look at and go, you know what, I'm proud of that. And so with that being said, I mean, I thank my sponsors all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you get your most marketing exposure? For racing. I mean, they do some in the newspaper, maybe. Is there other sources that kind of follow the racing scene?
It's kind of weird because back in the day, racing around here was huge.
Yeah.
I mean, it was always in the paper. The stands were
Right.
filled. Car shows were, a couple car shows a year, and you always take your race cars out there.
Right.
I think now, if our sponsors are having an event, we take our car there to go and try to promote there. A lot of word of mouth.
Right.
We started Arron Shankel Racing Facebook page last year, just trying to
good.
promote our racing
Right.
and our great sponsors, getting it out there to other
Right.
people.
That's a
So
good idea.
a lot of it's word of mouth. That's where we're at.
And it's all a lot of families that have been in racing for years, and like your son. Now, how do you feel behind the wheel? What do you think? Has your dad taught you a few tricks?
Yes, he has.
How do you like it? I mean, tell me what it feels like when getting in your little midget and doing your thing.
Yeah, you can't use that word, midget.
Oh, sorry about that. That's a hockey term.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's fun. It's a big adrenaline rush when you're out there on the track,
Right.
but it's a big risk too at
Yes.
times.
So you have to drive. I mean, you have to drive competitively, but you have to be smart about it, huh? You have to kind
Yes.
of always think about
Have
safety
you
as well.
ever been injured?
No, but I've been in a couple spin outs and
Oh, really?
crashes. Yes.
What's a spin out? I mean, what does it feel like when you're going in a spin out? I mean, what's happening?
It's just, it's
I'm curious.
It's
I've never
just
been in a spin out.
usually-
Can you take him and spin out? I will pay big dollars to see that happen.
usually at my track 1 and 2, I usually spin out the most in
Really?
because I always try to get on the gas before my tires are warm. So I usually spin out there. It's not really different than doing donuts.
Really?
Yeah,
So you
it's
just
just a
kind of
little
spin
quicker.
and then you get back on the track
Hey,
and
Roy,
move
can
forward.
I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
You do donuts too. How do you do yours?
They go right here. Well, that's great. That's great. So you're having fun.
Yes.
You're meeting a lot of friends,
Yes.
and are they all around your age then, or
Yeah.
pretty
Most of the time, yes.
How often do you drive? Like in a month, do you drive like one race or?
So, the season's coming up right now, and I just raced a winter series,
Okay.
and they had 4 races. I did 2 races.
Cool.
I did one at the start of February and the one at the end of February.
Nice.
Last
nice.
weekend.
Right on. Now, do they have racing for kids also here in Stockton, or do they have
Yes.
a track?
Yeah,
for the
they
kids?
have the
road
go-kart track.
course.
The go-kart
They
track.
have the go-kart track, I think.
And
also,
that's what they race on. Is it go-karts or is it a more of a modified?
no,
track?
his is a actual quarter the size of a sprint car, a midget sprint
Oh,
car
really?
that you'd see on TV.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
So for the little guys around here racing, they have the
Mini
go-kart
Cup?
track. They have a class called the Mini Cups that race at 99 Speedway. They look like a
Mini model?
a NASCAR car that you'd see on TV.
Really?
And they're cool. I mean, they're hauling the mail.
That's nice.
Other than that, for racing, I know there's the dirt bike or dirt track out between Stockton and Lodi Cycle Bowl, I think it is.
Oh, motorcycle.
So-
Okay.
yeah.
So, but I think that's about it for the kids racing around
Yeah.
here.
So Stacy, when was it that you got? When was it that you got involved with the racing? I mean, was it like I don't know how long you guys know each other, or whether she knew you when you were like 19 years old, but anyway, when did you come into the picture as far as racing with Arron?
Maybe 20 years ago.
Well, about 20 years ago, huh?
Yeah.
Was it legal for 16-year-olds to be out there?
Were you
Or your age?
were you attracted to race car drivers? I mean, you ended up with.
I've kind of been around it my whole life too.
Oh, really?
So
Okay.
my uncles raced at 99.
Oh, okay. So that's where the racing. Yeah. Okay. Are you a good racing
What's
family?
his name?
There were several.
Well, give us one if you can.
Roland Nolan Cook.
Roland
Nolan
Now that-
Cook.
when you have a nickname, you're
Right.
big.
Well, you have a nickname too.
Well,
but
don't
we
say
can't-
my
yeah, I
nickname
can't
on
say it
there.
on there. No.
That would be my great uncle.
That'd be your
Wow.
great uncle. Wow.
That's pretty cool.
And then Larry and Keith Smith. Those would have been my uncles.
Right.
They ran
on,
hobby
okay.
stock is what it was.
Hobby
back
So
then.
you had racing blood in you,
A little bit.
and you grew. Did you grow up going to the track a little bit?
When I was down with my grandparents, because
Oh,
I
cool.
didn't grow up here.
Okay.
My
And where did you grow up?
Yeah.
Ione.
Ione.
That's
That's not far away.
Yes.
That's
How
not
many
far
were there?
away.
Like 35 in there back then, or there's not much bigger.
Well, I was 16. About 2000 when I grew up there.
Was it?
Yeah.
Ione.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Cool.
Was
Well-
the prison there then?
Not Mule Creek, just Preston.
See, we're learning some history here. Hopefully you've read.
No,
another
we're good.
question.
We're good.
Well, you're right.
So it's a family affair, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
And I think when you look at out in the stands and you know the people that are come on a regular basis, is it families? I mean, is
For the most part, I
for
think
most
so.
Yeah.
part, yeah, racing enthusiasts and
A
families.
lot of families.
When you first started, Arron, way back in when you were 12 or whatever it was, 1954. No, but I believe it or not, I came here in 1976, and one of my jobs that I had two at the time, that I worked at Cecil Security,
Yeah.
and that was one of their venues. And there was many nights that we'd have fights out there, sometimes in the pits.
They do happen.
Does that happen? Oh, probably not as much, but
We try to stay away from that.
Right.
But
Sure.
you know, hot heads, things happen. You try to have the drivers speak one-on-one,
right.
driver to driver. But what happens sometimes, the pit crews start going at it, or someone from the stands, and you know, every now and then there is some scuffles.
Yeah.
But we're trying to get away from that.
Yeah.
NASCAR is a family
Sure.
sport,
Right.
and so we want to keep it safe for the kids and safe for the family and everyone. We don't want to be out there like old times where they got wrenches and chains and that type of stuff. You know, we want to keep it clean and
Right.
have a good time.
So I haven't been out there in years. So I can't probably been out there one time since 1980, but I'm sure it's changed a lot. In fact, there's a guy named, and I'm sure you'll know him, Whitey or something to that effect. He was like he ran the
Was that Whitey Rich?
yes,
I believe that was it.
yeah. Where is he around in the days that you started?
No.
Okay, we got to get older guests in here. Okay, Roy.
Yeah.
These young guys-
Much older than you, huh?
No, there's not many of them still alive much older than me. But anyhow, one other question, what you might have for this lovely
Well,
family.
how would you say? Because you were talking about attendance, and stuff like that. You get like a regular attendance for a regular race, and then I know that you have many special event races, which probably garner more people to come out and watch. But how is the attendance?
It seems, I don't know. Sometimes it's kind of a roller coaster. We'll go out on a regular night, and the attendance can be low, but we'll race a 100-lapper or say the 4th of July race, and Tony puts on a great fireworks show, and the stands are just packed.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's economy or with people doing other things. It's
you have to really make it a big show. I mean, you have your regular, it's just like having a regular game every week, and then you have a really big game.
Sure.
Because there's a lot more marketing that goes into it. I know that you guys have. I was there for was it the Night of Champions?
Night of Champions.
Night of Champions. I was there, and what was really cool is that because you race, is it a stock car?
Yeah, the late model stock car.
Late model stock car. Now tell us a little bit about, because I got to see all the racing, and I got to see all these cars, different cars racing. Tell us about some of the different cars that they have events for that participate on a regular.
So
night.
on a regular night, they'll have the mini cups, which are the smaller cars, and I think the kids run those up to 15. I think they can run them up to age 15.
15. Okay.
And then from there, the next step could be either a bomber, which is a full size car, but it's like mid 70s Camaros or
Right.
80s Monte Carlos. And that's one division. They have a division B4s, the basic 4-cylinder cars. So your 4-cylinder cars will go out there and race.
Right.
And then sometimes they'll have modifieds, and they're pretty lightweight, a lot of horsepower, open front wheels, no fenders on them, so the tires are exposed.
Right.
And
What's the real small little? When I went out there, I saw like a real small little car. These were little guys, man. And it was really interesting seeing these real small cars kind of race. I forgot that.
Top, like a Legend.
Oh,
Like a
Legends.
Legend.
I think
Okay.
it might have been Legends.
All right, with the Legends, they have their own series, and I think that what they do is they tour around to different tracks.
Okay,
And so maybe the night that you were there,
Yeah.
Look at that one, right? That's the young. That's.
Oh, this is your car right here.
Yeah.
Should we put up
Nice, I like that.
Turn it to the camera.
That's
Roy.
kind of like isn't that kind of like the Outlaws car?
Yeah.
A little mini.
little sprint car.
It kind
Yeah,
of like a sprint car,
yeah,
huh?
like a
Without
wing.
the wings.
Without the wings, yeah, it does look kind of like that. Nice car, man.
Thank
I
you.
like it.
Can you spin them out in that car? One seat.
You're a
Maybe
good
if we
driver,
just-
huh?
We
You're a
rope
good
them like a
driver.
rodeo to like the hood. Just like you can hold on to a rope and see if you can buck them off.
Oh, we can do that.
All right, I'm with you now. Let's set up a date and we'll have a whole audience out there.
That's
to
right,
see that.
exactly. We'll put them on our Facebook page too. Hey, tell me about it, because I know that you've won several races, during your career. Tell us about some of the ones that were really satisfying to win. They're really important to you to win.
The ultimate goal in life for me was or my dream was to race a late model. And when I bought the late model, I think it was in 2015, and we raced 2016. I think it was the first night or the second night of 2016, I won my first ever late model race.
Right
And I think,
on.
I don't know, it was a 35 lap or a 40 lap main event.
Yeah.
And that was probably the first one was the coolest.
Yes.
Just because all the dreams and
Yeah.
everything was that was a neat experience. And then the last race of the 2017 series, when I had to finish up front, we had it calculated. I had to be so many car lengths in front of another car in order to win the championship. And once the checkered flag was thrown, and they, crew came over to the radio and said, "Hey, you're the champion." That was a cool experience.
Wow.
Yeah,
That was like your first? Or?
first ever championship.
Wow,
Yeah,
you always remember those.
Always remember that,
Always
yep.
remember those, yeah, it's great.
Now,
Great.
do they have is it a series that leads up to like a certain amount of points? And then what is the title for that particular event? I mean,
So in a night of racing, in a main event, the leader or the finisher will get 50 points.
Okay.
Second place, 48, and it goes down in increments of 2.
Mhm.
And obviously, you want to get the most points throughout the season, and with that comes the title.
Okay.
And we have a few nights during the racing season that it's a double points night. So
Okay.
First place we get 100.
100 points, and then
98.
96. And then
Oh, double. I
yeah,
got
double.
you. I got you.
So those nights, if you don't win, you definitely want to finish up front because points are huge.
Right.
Right. It's like maybe two races anyhow. Right.
Right. So it could be close.
That's good.
Yeah.
Who would you consider? Because you've raced against a lot of other drivers. Who were the ones that you really felt these guys are really great drivers, and I'm glad to be able to compete with them? Are there some local drivers?
Yeah, there's some local drivers. Like I said, when I was growing up, coming through the ranks, and when I was helping out Wayne Pierce, he was always helping out Ron Stromiska.
Shermiska, now that's a name.
Okay,
that
the
you,
Manteca Missile. The
Yeah.
guy was good. The family's awesome.
Right.
So I got to race with his grandson Ross the
Okay.
last couple of years,
Oh.
and being able to be on the track with a Stromiska is kind of cool.
Right.
A lot of respect for them.
Right.
The other, the Philpott family, a third generation. They know their stuff, and it's, you keep those names up there because
Right.
they're good people.
Yeah.
So
Now, the opposite of that question is what I got to ask you because he always leaves me with the dirty word.
Yeah.
Is there some? And you don't have to give me names if you don't want to. I'm not trying to get you in trouble, but is there somebody you go, oh no, he's racing nice?
I'm hearing a lot of
I
those.
got to put a lot of Vaseline on the side of my car so I don't get dented up.
in this sport, we're all out there to have fun.
Sure.
Right.
And even though we're competitors in the pits, we're all kind of a racing family.
Sure.
And I've been out there for a lot of years, and some of my competitors have broke down. I've given them parts
Oh, sure.
Right.
to get them
Help
out
each
there,
other, yeah.
and I've gone over and asked for help from other competitors. So even though, we battle on the track, it's still kind of a close-knit family. And then
Let me ask that question a different way. You did a good job. You're a good politician. We got to run you for mayor here in Stockton. A little late this time, but maybe next time. But anyhow, aggressive drivers. Well, in other words, let's ask that question first. These things are just popping in my head right now.
It's a hat.
It is. 1 to 10 aggressiveness on a racetrack. Where do you lie in that?
Well, it depends on the race. A lot of people say in a 40 or 50 lap race, there's some drivers that want to win it in the first turn. First corner, you fly in there, you're bouncing off cars. You don't win it in the first corner.
No.
You got to be there at the end. So you just kind of bide your time, cruise a little bit, and when the opportunity opens up, you take the spot. And then, of course, once it gets down to the end and you're getting closer, then it's
Gotta
full
become
throttle.
more
Then you might be at a level 10. You might even go to a level 12.
Right. But now, do you have help from your pit crew and saying, okay, you're going to have a shot here in a minute to pass so and so?
So with that, obviously, I'm in the car driving, but upstairs and in the infield, I have spotters.
Right.
So we have racing radios that. They're telling me if, on my outside or inside or coming up.
Right.
So with that in your ear and trying to run your own line,
Right.
there's a lot of factors that,
It's got to be, Roy or I go out there, we'd be in a wreck in the first turn probably. But
No, I drive very slow. I don't think I would.
well, you wouldn't be out there. You're going to go spinning donuts with the kid here.
No, that's still not that high.
When you look at who's in the race with you, do you say, okay, for me to have a shot at this, and obviously if mechanical stuff happens, you
Sure.
can't control that, but if everything's going good for you, is there like, man, by 10 laps to go, I got to be in this position to have a shot to get
Strategy. Give us a
yours.
strategy.
I mean,
everybody has it. So.
not only are you, hammering down and trying to go as
Sure.
fast as you can, but you're thinking, okay, this guy's running a high line. If I come in, I can, get underneath him, or if he's running a low line, I can maybe pass him on the outside. So sometimes you try setting them up, see where they're running, pressure them a little bit.
Right. If they go high, you're gonna go low.
Exactly. It's just to see how they're running, and then once you get next to them, you go by and you work on the next car.
So each driver has certain traits that they do. He left us. The goaltender, he left the gate open. But anyhow, I was going to ask him, but it's like goaltender. I know you're coming down to me one-on-one. You're well, now you know you can get on the mic and came back. But anyhow, so he's looking. He knows this. He's played against this kid. He's going to try to go short side on me, or he's going to, he's trying to draw me and deke me and make me go down and shoot over me, or whatever it might be. That's a tendency. Do you see enough film on your opposition to know this guy normally is going to go low? Now he may trick me tonight and go high, but his factors throughout the last 10, or he drops low or whatever. I'm just making.
Yeah, there's different drivers out there that have their lines that and so you keep that in the back of your mind, and when it gets down to it, at the end of the race too. Car's hot, tires are sliding, so there's a lot of factors, and you just got to see what they're doing. Right. And sometimes, you don't make that move. You take a second or third to save the race car. I call it live a race another day, just because spending hours and hours out in the shop working on it for one spot. It's not paying my mortgage yet.
Right. Exactly.
That. The other thing is damage to the car. I'm talking about physical damage, not internal or engine type. What does, I call it a league, but what do they say? You can't come out here with a big dent in your fender, and it probably has to do with aerodynamics too. At one point, you make it a ripple rather than a dent, I guess.
Right. So, we have rules that we have to go by. And I don't want to take my car out there that has a bunch of dents or a fender missing, because I'm showcasing my sponsors and I'm proud of my car. So I always try to keep my car looking clean.
So is there, I know in NASCAR they have 2 cars or 3 or 4 or 10 or whatever they have. You have 1.
Yeah.
Or do you have 2?
Well, we have 1 right now.
Right. Why do you keep looking at that?
Well, maybe there's something brewing.
Who knows?
I don't do the bookkeeping.
But you have parts, probably 2 engines, I'm guessing, or whatever. You carry that with you to the.
Yeah.
Of course, you're not going to change it. Probably wouldn't change an engine, and if you had. You might. I don't know. It depends on when it goes out.
They probably have.
It's happened.
Really?
If it's early in the afternoon, we can change it before qualifying.
Really?
So.
Wow.
Oh.
So how many on your pit crew?
So we've got 3 basic. Myself, my brother Chuck, Lester. We got my buddy Donnie that helps out spotting, and my buddy Jake. So at times you can have 5 up to 3 guys.
Yeah. Right on.
Yeah. So
hey, tell me this, man. On like 125 lap race, how does your body handle it? I mean, I'm thinking, I've never driven a race car, but I'm thinking you got to be in some decent shape.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that 125 lap race is in July. It's July 4th, so it's
nice and cool.
Nice and cool, yeah. So
Definitely
one
has
year,
AC going.
one year we ran the car, and I got out, and I'd lost 7 pounds.
Wow.
So what I've done, and I cramped up real bad where I had to get fluids.
Yeah.
So what I done since then is start like on Wednesday drinking Pedialyte.
Right.
So get a lot of electrolytes, and I'll gain like 7-8 pounds, but after that race, it'll all be gone. So I try to prepare myself.
Right. And mentally, is it pretty? I mean, I would think, being in that car for 125 laps mentally would be wearing.
There's definitely corners that you kind of like, I ran it a little too hard in here, or
staying focused.
But that's where the crew on the
Yeah,
radio.
it's telling
My
you.
pit crew and my spotter will, okay, Shank, hit your marks. You're doing fine. Keep it up, or they're catching you here, or you're gaining there. So
I'm going to ask the $64,000 question.
Go right ahead.
Well, I know you have a $30,000 question.
I'm behind you 100%.
If you have to liquid relieve yourself, do you do that in the car, or
You gotta
don't-
stop
you
at
can't,
the
you can't call a
7-Eleven.
timeout.
there's no timeouts.
No timeout.
No. So right before, I always go use the restroom,
Sure.
and knock on wood, in 25 years, I've never had to
Yeah.
go inside the car.
I
So
probably
Well,
just
we-
jinxed you, man. I didn't mean to
No.
do that.
let me
We
knock
know
on
that
some
it
wood.
happens on the football field.
It happens on the ice too, though.
A few times.
Things happen.
Hey, well, you guys have short stints. No, but wait a minute.
Nah, he's out
Not
there the
me.
whole
Oh,
time.
you're out there the whole time. Yeah.
They get short
Really?
stints. I got home.
Anyhow,
So how now the 99 Speedway schedule? Does it start in a certain month and then go through a certain period?
Yeah, so we're getting ready to start our season. In fact, Friday we're going out to practice our car,
Okay.
shake it down, make sure everything, is working properly.
Right.
And the Stockton Late Model Series starts in the first weekend in April. It's on
wow.
a Sunday.
right around the corner.
Yep. So that Sunday, which I think is the 5th, at 2:00. So
Okay.
then
That's
from
when you
there,
start it off, yeah.
then we'll start every Saturday night.
So it's every Saturday night.
Well,
No.
from then after our races will
Oh,
be
right.
on,
It'll be
yeah.
on Saturday
Yeah.
nights.
We'll
How
have-
many races do you have per month
I
out
think
there?
this year
Couple,
we're
maybe?
at a 9 race or 10 race.
Oh, okay. 10
so-
race series.
Basically once a month almost.
Once a
once a
month,
month.
about
Once a
every
month.
three,
There.
about every 3 weeks or so.
About every
And once
3
that
weeks.
season starts, you're pretty much there. You're not going to another rink.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
we're
don't,
not.
You don't
we
drive
don't
anywhere
travel.
else,
That takes a lot of
Money,
funding,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
so we're good. I mean, we're local,
Yeah.
and I want to promote our local sponsors, and so we're good. We're having fun there.
So the people are going to go out. I want you guys to go out to 99 Speedway and watch this young man and younger man race. And yell
How
his
much does
name.
it cost to get in?
I think on an
It's
average
about
night
$10.
is I think
Or
it's
more?
about $15 for an
$15
adult.
for an
Maybe
adult.
it goes down to under 10 free.
Okay,
maybe.
okay.
And
And that's like how many hours of racing though? Because that's a long night.
so green flag starts around 6,
Right.
and I mean it depends on the night and how many cars. We
Right.
could be over at 10 o'clock.
Okay.
I've started main events when it's 12:30 in the morning.
Yes.
And we're
The
running
one
a
that I
100
went to
lapper.
That
probably
was
lasted
recent.
till
Yeah.
1 a.m.
Yeah, and
we
I
had
get
a special driver come down for that one night. He was a big name.
that was the Night of Champions race
Night
with
of
Kenny
Champions.
Wallace,
Kenny Wallace.
Rusty Wallace's brother.
Oh,
yeah, that was kind of cool.
Yeah, and so that was the last race of the night, and I'm going, holy shit, it's 11 o'clock. When they can start this thing? Oh, excuse me. it was getting. Hey, that's okay. Hey, listen, I felt like I was in the pit crew right now. It's just having a. I'm
You
just
are the
having
pits, my
I was
friend.
having
I know.
a
I'm
moment.
working every day.
I was having a moment.
But it makes for a long day. I get out there about noon
Yeah.
and unload the car, and then we start practice at 3 to 5, qualifying at 5 to 6, and then the night of racing
Is
starts.
this young man in your pit?
He comes down and helps out.
Good job.
Yep.
That's how you learn. That's
Yep.
exactly how you learn. That's
What
good.
do you- What do you got on yours?
It's for my friend's mom.
Maybe
Cancer.
when you make it to
We
the
got
big
one,
time,
too,
your
sure.
dad could be a spotter for you because he'd probably be too old to wrench.
Hey, tell us about, Tony was going to try to be here today.
Right.
And actually, I thought he was going to be able to make it. But he was up to his neck in fertilizer.
Sure.
So right now, he's a farmer.
Yep.
He started as a farmer, I believe.
Really?
And now he's an entrepreneur.
He's got his hands
He's
in
got
everything.
his
Yeah.
hands in everything.
What is he? I don't understand what he's
So the Nassetti Group that runs 99 Speedway, that owns 99 Speedway,
Yeah,
I believe, how have they? Because I know he's a real, true racing fan. What kind of impact has he had on keeping the racing community alive?
He's in 2006 the track closed down for 2 years,
Right.
and Tony, I believe,
Tony
purchased
came in.
it back. So he gave us racers an opportunity to come racing again,
right.
especially local here. If not, we'd have to travel to Madera or Roseville, which, isn't that far, but
Right.
it is far. But
Right.
everyone in the Stockton, Lodi area gave us a great place to go racing again.
Yeah.
And so with that, he's got the go-kart track and also the dirt track
Right.
out at the fairgrounds. But
It seems like, because I've gone to the Night of Champs, it was a great event. There was a lot of people, fireworks, the whole, just a great show. It was very entertaining. I don't go out to the races regularly. I'm just not a race, But anyway, but I have also gone to I went to the World of Outlaws. I had never seen, believe me, I had never seen that type of car, run. And that was really interesting. So it was very entertaining. And that night when I went, they had a big time. Driver in that race. I forgot. I think it was the guy from right up here.
oh, Kyle Larson from Elk Grove. Yeah.
And so anyway, I go with this. This guy's telling me. I go with this guy from Chase Chevrolet who follows that circuit, right? And he told me. He goes, Roy. Because you watch this Carl Larson, this is before he, moved up, but you watch this guy drive, he'll win tonight. He told me he'll win tonight. This guy is on his way, and by golly, he won the race. He went, holy buckets. But it was right after that where he got offered a car.
And moved up to yeah, he's a local boy.
Was he from like Galt or not too
Elk
far?
Grove.
Elk
Grove.
Elk Grove, right.
Dirt
yeah.
racing, and then got moved up, and hats off to him. We like all of our local California racers.
Oh boy.
So
Yeah, especially Northern California.
yeah.
Hey Roy, we're getting to wrap here. We're
Right
about
on,
a minute
right
out.
on, right on.
I know you got an event coming up in June, right?
Yeah, we have the Lions All-Star Football Game, the 47th annual Lions
Great
All-Star
number.
Football Game.
Yeah.
47.
47.
Great number.
Hey, that's why I got this hat today. 47.
Okay, slow down, Turbo. What night is that? That's a Saturday night. Unfortunately, you're probably
It is a Saturday
driving.
night.
Well,
If you aren't, what
It's-
night is it?
It's actually
What's the date?
June 13th.
June 13th.
Saturday night, June 13th. We're
Yeah.
having it at
Lincoln High School.
Lincoln High School.
nice.
Yeah,
I
if-
played
if
football
you're
on that
off-
field.
That's
So,
right.
That's right.
If you check your schedule and you're available, it'd be great to have his car come
We'll
out
bring
there.
Oh,
the car
yeah.
out. Yeah, if you're available, we'd love to have
Oh,
you
that'd
come
be
out.
kinda cool.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
Check our schedule.
Yeah, we'll put it
47,
right out in the entrance
47
right
on the 47.
47 on the 47.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I like that.
I come up, I do all the
He's
work.
a
and-
genius.
Great,
hiding.
great minds think
Anyhow,
alike.
one time around, you got any last words, Miss Stacy?
I'm good, thank you.
She's
You
just a
are
race
good.
girl.
You've been very good. You've been very good tonight.
Yeah,
haven't
thank you for
slapped
sitting
them.
in.
It's great. Thank you for being part of our show.
Yes.
Thank
Aaron,
you.
you got any last words?
Thank you very much for having me on the
It
show.
was a pleasure.
Well, I appreciate it, and I appreciate all my great sponsors for supporting me, and come out to Stockton 99 Speedway and
Yes.
come support Arron Shankel Racing.
You bet.
Definitely.
Junior, you got one last word.
Make sure you come and watch. It's fun. It's a great night. It's good racing. After the pits, come in and say hi to us. We'd love that.
Absolutely. Come.
Yeah.
And Junior will do the autographing. It costs money for the big guys.
Hey, do you have a number on your car?
Yes, I do.
What's your number?
47.
Woo! We got the 47 going on. 47,
You are a
Daniel.
genius. You know, you're a
47.
genius. Anyhow,
You know-
one last little poke for hockey. If you want to come out and watch the St. Mary's Rams, who finished second in the playoffs in the Duck League, which is a second-year team, finishes second. My hat goes off to them, but they'll be at the Oak Park Ice Rink Saturday at 10 o'clock in the morning, and then we return against Faith Lutheran. It's a team that wanted to play St. Mary's from Las Vegas, Nevada. Going to be right here in our hometown in Stockton. They play again at 7:30 that night, and then Sunday morning at 10. It's a great event. I'll be there. I know my co-host Roy's going to show up.
Senior night, Saturday
It's
night.
senior night. He
late game
qualifies
is
as a
senior
senior.
life.
Anyhow,
That doesn't mean you get a discount if you're a senior. It means
No,
that
no.
we're acknowledging the seniors on the
that's
team.
right. We're acknowledging them. So come out and have a great weekend with us. The St. Mary's Hockey Show will be on next Thursday on the 12th. we return as the Chase Car Guys on the 18th. I want to say thank you to all the guests. We appreciate you
Thank
coming
you.
out.
Thank you very
You'll
much.
get your checks at the door. And it's whatever you told us, it's going to be multiplied by 0. So that's what you get. And no parting gifts, nothing here. I got a Shankel hat, man. I'm going to wear it.
You're
Perfect.
Good.
It's a great job, and I appreciate everybody, and I know Roy does. And until we meet again.
Yes.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for listening.